What do we make of the Western Bulldogs? Despite all the media's praise early in the year for overcoming injury, the Jamarra Ugle-Hagan situation, and the revival of Luke Beveridge being seen as one of the best coaches in the AFL, the club still sit middle of the rung. It's where they belong. The Bulldogs at their best play breathtaking football using handball chains to feed the ball out to runners and put up big scores. At their worst, they turn the ball over in the back half way too much, give up too many goals to key forwards, and succumb to pressure. It's why they are the AFL's newest flat track bullies, undefeated against the teams below them on the ladder, and at the time of making this, 0 wins to the teams above them. Sure, there were some close defeats in that mix, and a couple were earlier in the year, but it's now become a clear trend that this Dogs team can't beat the best quite yet. It's something Beveridge knows and understands there is something in his team's efforts that needs to be fixed when they are playing very good teams. After the loss to Hawthorn, Beveridge best summed up where the Dogs are at. I always think that to make the leap into the top part of the competition, if you're getting beaten by 15 or 20 points here and there, it's more than that. The margin on the scoreboard sometimes doesn't tell the full story. What we've done in recent times against some of the better teams, and in the pressure of the game, we turn the ball over too often and too blatantly. It's putting us on the back foot at different times, and it's hard to get momentum in the game when you're doing that too often. That's skill, that's game sense, some of it's a surprise. It's the best description anyone has given on the Dogs, and it is fitting it came from the senior coach. This trouble against good teams and severe pressure can be tracked back for a while now. A blown 40-point lead in the 2022 elimination final against Fremantle, around 23 loss at home to West Coast in 2023 that would have sewn up a final spot, a horrific performance against Hawthorn in the 2024 elimination final in front of a record crowd, not helped by Ugle-Hagan and his own antics in the week leading up. Throw in a 33-point halftime lead that was blown to Brisbane in gather round, and then the Thursday game against the Hawks. Big games with big consequences that were lost. But it's not just that. All of these examples had the Bulldogs in favourable positions in games to win, or they were favourites beforehand. It's a growing trend with this team that in big games they should win, they just don't. However, you might be thinking the Dogs do play well in some big games. The 100th anniversary game against Collingwood was a great effort. The second half against Geelong was good. They did beat a hot GWS team at the time in Canberra. And in 2024, beat Carlton, Geelong away and Sydney away in 3 consecutive weeks. But what's the trend there? The Dogs were either well behind in the game or big underdogs coming in with no expectation to win. The pressure of performance is a real thing with this group of players. Under fire with no shot is when they are at their best, but as soon as they are expected to beat a good team or in a position to close out a game, we are seeing them falter way too often. However, this is not the case with the AFL's bad teams. No one feasts like the Dogs when they smell blood in the water. If you don't pressure the Bulldogs and let them get hot, damage gets done. A 91-point win over Essendon, 90-point win over Port Adelaide, and 2 70-point wins over St Kilda show you do need to be on against them. This is why the Bulldogs can be described as serious flat track bullies. Harlem Globetrotter handballs, creative stoppage goals, and bounce out of defence are all associated with the Dogs when they are given that time and space and not under pressure. In part, it is why they were given the most prime time slots in the back half of the season. In terms of the detail, we all know the stoppage game is their one wood. No one scores more in the stoppage game than the Dogs, amassing 50 points per game from the score source. They also win the most centre clearances and are the most successful team in starting a chain and ending it up in a score, roughly getting 1 in every 4 on the scoreboard. Beveridge has always had strong midfields in his time, and this season is no different. However, the turnover game has not been in the same realm. If the Dogs are to be a serious threat, it seems it will be through that midfield unit. In the modern game, not many teams go deep playing that way, with their midfield the sole part of their offense. It's all about turnover for the most part. Right now, they are 9th for turnover differential per game. Again, it's not horrible, but not elite. The Bulldogs are also in the bottom half for intercept possession differential per game, meaning their opponents are winning the ball off them more, and the Dogs can't quite win it back enough. Then the big one of late is the defensive half scoring. Again, it's no surprise the Bulldogs are at minus 0.8 per game, which is 11th. It shows those back half turnovers lead to easy opposition goals, and simultaneously means the team struggles to move the ball from their back half to their front end. It's a double-edged sword and has been a big issue against the stronger teams. If you can hold the Bulldogs midfield and break even or even beat them, the data shows you are a strong chance to win the game, and this is exactly what we have seen with them against the other top 8 teams. And if James Sicily was the focus for the Hawks, then Aaron Naughton has to be for the Bulldogs. He is deputy vice captain, and although others have had a lean past month, Naughton as a leader has clearly been shaky. We all know his goal kicking can come and go, but the aerial threat and ground level play at his best does worry the opposition. But those vice-like hands seemingly have evaporated. He's still trying, it's clear to see. A 3-goal effort against St Kilda was solid, but he's often running under the ball, or it's getting kicked over his head, and it's now rare to see one of his classic clunks in a big pack. He's having the lowest rated season of his career, and averaging just 1 contested mark per game. He did have an interrupted pre-season, but at the halfway mark, surely it can turn for him. It's harsh to single out one player, but his drop-off has been alarming for just a 25-year-old. Sam Darcy being back should help Naughton, as he will get the second best defender each week, but like his team against the best, the astronaut has failed to take flight. So it feels like the Dogs will sit in this space for a while. A soft backhand draw should equal at least another finals appearance, but with only Brisbane away and Adelaide at Marvel to come in terms of those top end opponents, the Dogs will be hard to get a read on. To be the best, you have to beat the best, and at this point in time, that hasn't happened regularly enough. The Bulldogs are always a threat to get white hot, they have in month-long patches for most seasons, but that ever-present great team label has evaded them. It looks like for the Bulldogs to march towards another grand final in 2025, they are going to have to do it the hard way and as underdogs, but perhaps history shows that is when they are at their best.